What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday. Hope you're getting ready for a great weekend. So the off season's here, right? And the off season is officially here. And there's going to be a lot more noise, a lot more chatter. The GM meetings just happened this week. The winter meetings are in under 4 weeks. And I'll have somebody live there. I'll be live every day during the winter meetings, and somebody reporting stuff as well, live with me at the winter meeting. So anything that breaks, you'll get it on the channel pretty quickly. Okay, and I'm going to be one of the two people who's going to share this information with. So make sure your notifications are turned on if you're subscribed. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do that right now. Okay, but I want to give you 10 bold trade proposals that could shake things up in baseball this offseason. Okay, and shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. And these trades just make sense. Okay, and let's just get right to it. Okay, so the first one is going to be Philadelphia. And if you haven't heard the Philadelphia Phillies, they just hired Don Mattingly's son, Preston Wilson, as their new GM. Okay, they are shopping Nick Castellanos, and the chances are they're going to lose a couple of relievers. So what better than to do a package trade? And what better, bold move for Dave Dombrowski and company over there, and new GM Preston Mattingly to shake things up, going for Brent Rooker in the outfield and Mason Miller to close there. That would be a monster trade for the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, I would normally consider putting a package here, but I generally don't use baseball trade values only because most of the trades don't pan out the way that baseball trade values it at. So, and if a team adds money to lessen the prospect load and so on and so forth, it changes everything. So I just want to give you the teams that make most sense for these players. And to me, Philadelphia makes sense for Brent Rooker and Mason Miller. So that's trade one. Okay. Next up is Jesus Luzardo to the Boston Red Sox. We're hearing that the Boston Red Sox is looking to invest in pitching. Okay. Jesus Luzardo, of all the decimated parts of the Marlins rotation, he was the one that was actually able to stay mostly healthy this year. He's a lefty. He's got controllable years, and Boston's willing to shed some prospects to get a controllable pitcher like this. Okay. Ever since they traded away Chris Sale to the Braves for Tyler O'Neill, they might lose him too. So none of those guys might be there. And Jesus Luzardo gives them a young lefty pitcher they could just plug into their rotation and build around. Okay. They have a lot of young players there. They have a lot of dynamic players on the offensive side. They need to boost their pitching. So Jesus Luzardo to the Boston Red Sox makes a lot of sense. Next up is Ryan McMahon, a third baseman that I have talked about for the Yankees. Now, he's been told that he wasn't going to get moved at the deadline this past year by the GM, by the owner of the team. But that doesn't mean he's not going to be available now, because the Rockies have already decided and announced that they want to cut some payroll. And Houston Astros might have an opening at third base. Okay, even though Alex Bregman has shown a willingness to move to second base, they have Jose Altuve there. Okay, and the fact is, Kyle Tucker, their outfielder, is going to be a free agent next year. Now, are they going to spend money on Alex Bregman or Kyle Tucker? I personally think if they're going to spend big money, it's going to be on Kyle Tucker. He's a younger, more dynamic player. So this opens up a trade possibility for Ryan McMahon, third baseman, lefty hitter from the Colorado Rockies. And the Houston Astros would be a perfect fit for him. So that's trade 3. Number 4 is a trade for our Yankees, a multiplayer trade. Ryan Helsley is their closer, okay, and Brendan Donovan is a dynamic player that I've talked about for about 2 years now. That they both have 1 year control left, and they're both on the arbitration side. So this would likely not be an expensive trade, but the Yankees do have the prospects to give them up, and they've already said at the GM meetings that they're going to be aggressive in the relief pitching market. So, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go in free agency for everybody, but a guy like Ryan Helsley to steward that in the back end of that bullpen will be a fantastic hit. And even free agency guys like Jeff Hoffman, who played with the Phillies, Devin Williams in the trade market, Tanner Scott in the free agent market, who's not attached to a QO. So you get a Helsley and a guy like Devin Williams, or Helsley and a guy like Tanner Scott. That makes it makes the bullpen a heck of a lot better. They've got a lot of free agents, and Tim Hill, as much as I like him, I could see the Yankees getting another Tim Hill that's 10 years younger and just adding him to the bullpen. So if he doesn't come back and they replace him with a younger version of Tim Hill, I'm okay with that. But if he does come back, I'm okay with that too. But adding, particularly since Johnny Loizaga won't be back, Tommy Kahnle likely won't be back, Clay Holmes won't be back, okay, and several other relievers won't be back either. So Tim Mays is probably going to be likely a non-tender candidate too. So Ryan Helsley and Brendan Donovan to the Yankees. Next up would be Garrett Crochet to the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers, defending world champions, they might lose Jack Flaherty. They might lose Walker Buehler. And that, they're going to have to replace him with something. Even though they have Shohei Ohtani coming back to the rotation, and they also have Tyler Glasnow coming back, I could still see them trying to add a lefty pitcher here. And Garrett Crochet would bring a heck of a lot of value there. He might even, I don't even know if he'd be their number 3, because you still have Yamamoto there, and you have some other guys too. And but adding Crochet to a Dodgers rotation would be pretty crazy. And the Dodgers have enough prospects to give and the White Sox. And the White Sox have already made it clear they're looking for position players in any trade for Crochet. Now, you package Luis Robert in there, that'd be another crazy situation. But I could see Crochet heading to the Dodgers. The rich are going to get richer. Next up, Jordan Montgomery. Even though he's already exercised his option with the Arizona Diamondbacks, I still see him being traded. And the Atlanta Braves might lose Max Fried, and I think Max Fried's probably going to head out west, okay, because he's a West Coast boy. Jordan Montgomery would give them a nice breath of fresh air, and I think it changes scenery for him, especially when the Arizona Diamondbacks owner has already expressed regret bringing Jordan Montgomery here. So I think Montgomery would change the scenery at Atlanta Braves. They tend to do really well with developing pitchers. I think he'd be you combine him with Chris Sale over there and Spencer Strider coming back from Tommy John at some point. That would be a nice addition to that rotation. So, by the way, smack those likes buttons, everybody, if you don't mind. Let's get over 100 likes. It's always greatly appreciated. Next up, Jonathan India to the San Francisco Giants, a dynamic playmaking infielder. Okay, the San Francisco Giants need some more dynamic playmakers, especially since they re-upped with Matt Chapman at third. They need somebody at second who can be a potential leadoff hitter for them as well. And I could see the Giants making some bold moves. They decided whether to bring back Blake Snell, obviously. But Jonathan India would represent a nice upgrade in the infield for the San Francisco Giants. What it would cost? Probably not a ton, but I think they have the resources to get it and the willingness to get it. I think the San Francisco Giants are going to want to. So they're going to want to compete in the National League West, and it's going to be tough to do against the Padres and the Dodgers if they're not being bold. Jonathan India gives them a nice versatile player to add to that team. So India to the San Francisco Giants. Next up, Josh Naylor, Cleveland Guardians. He's got 1 year left. He plays first base, and he is a player that's grown up. He's matured quite a bit. I'm happy to see it. I really am. But the Seattle Mariners, with the TV deal, they've already made it clear, too, that they need to upgrade in the bats and where are they going to move from, right? I could see them making a couple of trades here. We can have a separate trade here with the Mariners, too, that are incoming, or outgoing, I should say, but on Naylor's incoming to Seattle. So I could see the Guardians getting maybe a pitcher and a position player here and a deal for Naylor. He's got 1 more year left. He's young. He's 27. But the fact is the Mariners need to upgrade on the offensive side. They've got a great rotation, okay, but they need bats. I could see them signing somebody in free agency, and I could see him getting a guy like Naylor over there from the Cleveland Guardians, which would shake things up. Next up, Jameson Taillon to the New York Mets. I could see Luis Severino accepting his qualifying offer. I don't know if he would get much more on free agency because of his health history. So I could see him coming back, but I see Sean Manaea declining his qualifying offer, which I think he's done already, and signing elsewhere in free agency, and which would give an opportunity to a guy like Jameson Taillon to be traded to the Mets. And I think the Mets would probably want to make a trade for a pitcher, and they might even want to sign a pitcher. I've even projected them as an option for Corbin Burns, but I'm not exactly sure if they're going to sign a guy to a 6 or 7 year deal who's already at 30. So Jameson Taillon represents a nice fit. He's got 3 more years on his deal, and he's been relatively solid over there in Chicago. And I think he'd be solid over here in the New York Mets too. So Taillon to the Mets. Next up is Bo Bichette to the San Diego Padres. I think they're going to decide to build around either Vlad or Bichette, and Vlad's probably going to be the most prominent name over there they're going to build around, which I think Bo Bichette gives them an opportunity to flip for some prospects. And the Dodgers, the Padres need to get over the hump. They want to beat the Dodgers. They're going to have to bring in some impact players. Bo Bichette represents a fit here too. They might lose Ha-Seong Kim, right, versatile infielder. Bringing in a guy like Bichette over there to the infield, and the Padres would really, really super jolt that offense and that infield too. So Bichette to the Padres just makes too much sense to me. And I could see something like this happening. And my bonus trade, number 11. Remember I talked about Washington? Well, Luis Castillo. I think they're going to trade, and the fact is they said they're going to lower payroll. Okay. They've got 5 young, dynamic starting rotation pitchers. Luis Castillo is the older one. He's also the most expensive. He's got $23 or $24 million on his contract. I could see him being flipped to a team like Washington, who's going to want to add a frontline starting pitcher or two and a willingness to spend, especially surround them with a lot of young players that they already have here. I think they're ready to take that next step to start competing again in the National League East. And the fact is, too, you want to get past the Mets, you want to get past the Phillies, even the Braves, you're going to have to make a move like this, Luis Castillo. Now, it's not. I don't think it's going to have the same impact as, say, Steven Strasburg, but Luis Castillo has been pretty good everywhere he's been, from the Reds to the Mariners. And I think if he goes back to the National League, would be an upgrade for him. Okay, and that would get him over there on a team that's he can mentor some of the young pitchers there and some of the young players, and I think he'd be a valuable asset over there. So I see the Mariners bringing in Josh Naylor, sending out Luis Castillo. So those are my trades. Okay, my 11 trades, and I want to know what your thoughts are. Okay, and again, shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way, Stephen B, Jack, Hayden. Okay. And I'm going to do an independent video on just Yankees trades. So get ready for that. John, Mike Perez, what's happening, guys? Joshua. So I could see the Phillies. Winter meetings is this December 8th to the 11th or December 8th to the 12th, Joshua. So, and I've got somebody that's going to feed me in all the breaking news so I can report it. So he's going to be there. All right. So I'm still trying to figure out how to use this software, John Beagle, to show myself and the trades at the same time. Haven't figured out. I'm working on that right now, though, to get myself on here while I'm talking about these trades. It's more interactional that way. So Thomas Rock, hope you're doing well, too. Do I see the Yankees getting well through free agency? I think the Yankees are going to be active in free agency and trades. The fact of the matter is, they brought back Cole already. They've got to bring back Juan Soto. He's priority number 1. But if they want to add to Cole and Soto, which they need to do, they're going to have to clear some payroll. Okay, there's some non-tender candidates. They can clear probably another $15 million off the salary. And my guess is they're entertaining options to trade DJ LeMahieu if anybody would be willing to take him, and even Marcus Stroman, which would maybe will clear up another upwards of $20+ million there. And they would have to probably attach a good prospect to either one of them in a trade, but I can see them doing that too. Okay, I don't know if anybody's going to honestly, David, pay Soto over $50 million, but. Yeah, Hal Steinbrenner is visiting Soto, but he's flying out to California to visit them. Yes, he is. So they just met with Steve Cohen from the Mets. I don't know where, but no surprise. He's going to do his due diligence. And he said he wants to give everybody a listen, anybody that's interested. And obviously it's going to come down to less than a handful of teams, probably half a handful of teams. He'll get some offers, but, this is no surprise. He's a generational player. Shout out, Paranormal's in the house. So, but let me know what you think about these trades that I just proposed. And India's in, and the fact that I don't know if you saw my video yesterday, and I have Ryan Garcia from Five Star Yankees coming on tomorrow night as a special guest. We're going to talk about if Soto stays versus if Soto leaves. And if he leaves, then I think Judge should move over to right field. And if Soto stays, I think they should move Jazz Chisholm to second base. Because the fact of the matter is, no matter what, if you're cutting, no matter what the cutoff route is, one of those guys has to have a strong arm. Judge has a bullet for an arm. So I'm fine with Caleb Durbin being at second base. The new guy that they're probably going to give a shot to, at least in spring training. If he makes it, Jazz will be a third, and I think they're going to load up in free agency or on a trade for first base. If the flip side, if Soto comes back and he's in right and Jazz Chisholm's at second, I think they're going to load up on third base and first base. So stay tuned. They've already got to replace Alex Verdugo because I don't think he's going to be back. Jason Dominguez will be replacing him. But it all boils down to if Soto leaves or whatnot and what they would do to replace him, because there's not a single individual player who can just replace the impact that Soto would have to the Yankees. You would have to do multiple players. He's one of these guys that requires multiple players to have a similar impact. So, shout out to everybody in here, by the way. Let's smack the like buttons. Let's see if we can get over 100 likes as quickly as we can. It's always helpful in these live streams. It's magical to the algorithm, and I thank you for it. But yeah, Hal is meeting with Boris and Soto. Yes, he is. So Steve, I'll be doing a Yankee independent trade video. I'm working on that now. So Brendan Rodgers, I'm fine with either one. Second base, you can play him at second and play Jazz at third. But you would be automatic. Well, not necessarily giving up on Caleb Durbin because Brendan Donovan, well, not Brendan Rodgers, but Brendan Donovan would have a 1 year left on his deal. Now, let's stop with the name calling. Mark plays with the bad. Come on. No. Soto not signing us. It wouldn't be Boone. Wouldn't be the reason he wouldn't sign with us. So let's stop that, guys. Let's stop that, please. Okay. Let's stop the name calling. What do I think of the Yankees acquiring Soto, Scott, Burns, and Helsley? It's a lot to ask for, but it's, if I could see them acquiring, if they move either Cortez or Stroman, more likely Stroman because he's more expensive, I could see them going after a Burns or a Blake Snell. But they have to shed some salary. They definitely have to shed some salary. Udall, what's happening, my man? Shalom, mazel tov, my buddy. The infield definitely needs help, and they have to decide what they're going to do. And this is where I think alignment makes a lot of sense depending on whether Soto comes back or not. So they've got to they've got to fundamentally get better on the cutoff routes. And this is a way of doing it. So, and Ketel Marte, I don't know if it would be enough, in all honesty, Lorenzo. But I mean, he's a guy I wanted a couple of years ago. Definitely a couple of years ago. Yeah, Boone got sent to the World Series. So it's a waste of time complaining about Aaron Boone. He's not the problem. So, well, you can get it. You can add a starter, but they would have to trade a pitcher. And I'm guessing they're going to shop Cortez, and they're going to shop Stroman, I think, too. He might even get moved at the winter meetings. But I'm guessing for Stroman, you'd probably have to eat some of that salary and attach a prospect, and I would be okay with that. If they move Stroman, I could see them bringing in like a Snell or a Burns. You could, but you never know. Even a Jack Flaherty, he's not attached to a QO, and that's the other thing too. Burns is attached to a QO. Snell is not. So Brendan Donovan, I think, has 1 year of control left. I think. Let me. Christian Hugh Walker. Walker's also attached to a QO. I mean, they're. I know they're talking to him. They talked about Burns. They talked about Walker. Brendan Donovan contract. Brendan Donovan. Oh yeah, he's got. Yeah, you're right too. 25. Yeah, he's got 3 more years of control. Thank you for clearing. Yep. If they went with Brendan Donovan, obviously they would be giving up on Caleb Durbin, but I would still try to figure out a way to utilize him. He's a speed demon. But Brendan Donovan's a guy that I would love to have here, honestly. No. They could have an offseason. They could. I mean, they have about $100 million coming off the books already. So Knicks are up by 17. Nice. Yeah, I'm hearing that the Yankees, the Knicks are going to be aggressively going after Giannis too, from the Bucks. So they brought him in. That'd be freaking nuts. But that's what we have right now. I want to go with those bold trade proposals. Now, Brendan Donovan, I would not complain at all if they brought him here. I like him. He's a young, dynamic player. He's a contact hitter. He's solid across the body. He hustles. He's a hard-nosed player, and we need guys like that. We need fundamentally sound players here. Okay, we need to improve in these little margin areas. So, Kikuchi did not get a QO. Anybody that's traded at the deadline is not eligible for a qualifying offer. So Kikuchi does not have a QO attached to him. But I'm guessing right now the Astros are probably going to try to bring him back aggressively because it worked over there. He pitched well for them. Why mess with what works? So I could see. But if they don't, he's worth looking at for the Yankees. Manai is another one worth looking at, but he's attached to a QO. So not yet, McMahon. There's some prediction that Jack Flaherty's going to sign, but there's no truth yet. This is speculation right now. We don't know anything about Flaherty coming to the Yankees just yet. They've got to clear some payroll. So in the pitching side to give a guy like Flaherty. Murakami and Sasaki, I mean, Murakami is a guy that if he gets posted, his team has already agreed to post him early, and he's going to be 25 in February. So if he posted him early, like in December or January, he wouldn't be 25 yet. So he would be subject to international free agency, meaning 3 years of pre-arb, 3 years of ARB. Just the way I saw Ohtani, 6 years on the cheap. If you could get him, and he's got 240 plus home runs, he's only 24 years old. If you can get him, then he's definitely a guy worth looking at. So, yeah. Yeah, Stephen B. They use modern ones and old school ones. Yep. They're across the board. There's not an obsession with the analytics like the way there was under Dylan Lawson. It's a little bit different now at Rosen. They use both old and new school. No. Now Roki Sasaki is a dynamic pitcher, but I wouldn't put him in the same class as Yamamoto because he's only thrown 100 innings, over 100 innings twice in his career. He doesn't have that portrait of consistency like Yamamoto does, even though he throws hard. But so what? Okay, so what? And that's the thing. So, but if he gets posted early, I would go after him too. And we're going to find out about Sasaki in the next day or two. That's the reporting. We're going to find out whether he gets posted early. And I still don't think he will, because the fact is his team would not get any more than $2 million in posting fees right now if he got posted early. Okay. If he waited until he was 25, his team would probably get 40 or 50 million. That's a huge difference. So I don't see yeah. I mean, I think if Soto didn't come to the Yankees, the Mets would have a bigger edge. But I don't think the Mets have as big of an edge as people think they do over the Yankees, because he played here for the year. He knows what it's like, and he liked it here. So thankfully, he played here for the year. Thankfully, Soto acquired him. So Boris is demanding $50 million to 15. Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing too, Giles. And this is the thing too. If I'm the Yankees, I'm not waiting to make moves until we hear from Soto. I'm addressing the bullpen. I'm addressing the infield because they have to before or after Soto. And if you wait for Soto and all these other guys sign elsewhere, this is something the Yankees have done far too often. Wait until one guy, and then if they don't get him, they miss out on all these other plans, right? And they wind up taking it in the nose and taking it right in the chin. So I don't think it'd be a good idea. If I'm them, I'm going to be aggressive, and I'm going to address the bullpen early, and I'm going to start trying to figure out what to do in the infield too, and decide if we're going to replace Verdugo with Dominguez or not. So, yeah. No, I would give Soto an opt-out over a no trade clause, personally. But, yep. Yeah, unfortunately, 575 is going to be short, I think, Chet, on Soto. Yeah. But how do you recreate him in the aggregate? That's the thing. Yeah, no news yet, baseball. We just know that Hal's meeting with him and Scott Boras. He's flying out to California to meet with them. That's what news we got today regarding Soto. So, and that's a good thing. I mean, he's already met with Steve Cohen, and now Hal's next up. So, well, exactly, Jake Boss. So you have to proceed as if Soto's not coming. Because again, these other positions need to be addressed regardless of Soto or not. Regardless. So address the bullpen. Get some firepower in here in the bullpen. Okay. There's a lot of guys we talked about. And, the Yankees would be wise. They've got quite a few, openings in the bullpen now. How in a week. Yep. Hal's meeting up with him next week. That's right. With a swing man like Hicks help. Well, we have Oswaldo Cabrera right here. I mean, Brendan Donovan can be a swing man. And with the Yankees, speaking of Hicks, the Yankees are still paying him $10 million this year to not play for them. So after this year, that $10 million comes off the books, which is good. I think Hal's going to do whatever it takes to keep Juan Soto here. So, yeah, Jason Dominguez he's going to get an opportunity to be the starting left fielder next year. Yes, he will, Manny. Yes, he will. Tanner Scott will be phenomenal. I would love Tanner Scott. I really, really would. I think the Yankees need to shed a little bit more payroll. They need to non-tender a few guys in order to bring in somebody like Tanner Scott. Because if you think about this, let's just say Soto gets 50. Soto and Soto and Cole, that's 86 million. You add, let's just say 17 million for Tanner Scott. That's 103 million on 3 players, right? And you still haven't addressed the infield yet. And you haven't added another relief pitcher. So they have to make some more moves in trades and non-tenders. They've got to do that. So Everson Pereira, he's coming back from Tommy John. Oswald Peraza, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I think Caleb Durbin, if he plays well, he's got a skill set that these other prospects don't have. He very rarely swings and misses. He makes contact on a regular basis. Plus, he runs the ball. He runs the bases like with reckless abandon. So we need that. Backup catcher. Well, it depends on if Jose Trevino gets non-tendered or traded. But there was a proposal made by Ken Rosenthal that the Yankees should trade Nestor Cortez to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim for Logan O'Hoppe, who's a catcher, and then move Austin Wells to first base. And he played first base and he played catcher at the University of Arizona. So I found that to be an intriguing trade proposal. I could see the Yankees bringing up a prospect, but no more than one prospect to the majors this year. Just one. And it's most likely going to be Caleb Durbin. I don't think any of their pitchers are ready, so I think they're going to wind up being a trade route or free agency with pitchers. Unless they get Roki Sasaki. So, and that's the key. But yeah, now's the time for the Martian. He's got to show that he deserves the spot. Yep. And if he doesn't, someone else will be breathing down his neck in a short time. But yeah, Pereira is coming back from Tommy John. So he was the top Yankees outfield prospect the year before. So, and we'll see if he comes back and does well. But I think Jason Dominguez is going to be get every opportunity to be the starting left fielder here. I don't think they're going to platoon the Martian, John. I think he's going to get the opportunity to win the starting job in left field. Yep. Oh yeah, Chet. It's not about one person. It is about the team. But in Soto's defense, there is not a single player that can have the impact on the Yankees the way that Soto has. You'd have to get and again, how easy would it be to get 3 or 4 guys? Like people talk about Christian Walker, Bregman. These guys are all attached to qualifying offers. They're all older too. So do you really want to give up draft picks and international money and pay these guys big money when they're both on the wrong side of 30? I don't know. In all honesty, I don't know. So this is like the impact of Juan Soto. I mean, he makes almost pretty much everybody on the offensive side better when he's hitting around them. So, and he could be a good mentor to Jason Dominguez and potentially some of these other young players too. So, but you're right, it's not only one player. I mean, they've got to add to Juan Soto, and this is where they're going to have to be creative with their lineup, with non-tenders and trades and so on. They're going to have to be. So, but I think that some of these other trades that I was talking about can really bring some value and change things up in baseball. They just make too much sense for these teams. No. But Brendan Rodgers, somebody mentioned Brendan Rodgers. Let's see. Brendan Rodgers. Let's see. Baseball second baseman from right-hand hitting second baseman from the Colorado Rockies. Then 267, 13 homers, 54 RBI, 721 OPS. Brendan Rodgers, let me see his contract. Brendan Rodgers is a free agent in 2026. So he only has 1 more year left. I'm not exactly sure they would pick him over Caleb Durbin. I'm not sure. Or they can bring him up and have Caleb Durbin just ride the bench and play on it, back him up. I'm guessing they could do that too. Yeah, pitching staff. I think they're gonna try to trade Nestor Cortez and or Marcus Stroman. I'll keep you updated. That's why I say make sure your notifications are turned on, and once I get news, you're gonna get it immediately. And like I said, if you haven't heard, I've got somebody who's gonna be reporting me stuff directly from the winter meetings. Okay, and I'm one of the 2 people he's gonna get the info to report the stuff. So I thank him for that. I really do. Max Fried, maybe an intriguing option. The Yankees have already reached out to his agent, but I think he's going to go out west. He's a West Coast boy. But you never know. You never know. Max Fried. But he's also attached to a qualifying offer. Well, a Samurai, I mean, it would be easier to trade Nestor. It would be easier to trade DJ. I mean, DJ and Stroman, like I said earlier, you'd have to attach a good prospect to either one of them, and you have to eat some of the contract. Do I see Jazz playing third? I see Jazz playing third if Soto doesn't come back. But I mean, even though I can see Jazz at third or second regardless, but I think the alignment is nice. If Soto comes back, then I would play Caleb Durbin at second, keep Jazz at third. I think they're going to give Durbin every opportunity to play and win the second baseman spot. So they're going to have to decide. They bring in somebody in a trade, and they're all but saying Caleb Durbin's not ready yet, but it looks like he is ready. He's tearing up, in the Arizona Fall League too. He's absolutely on fire. Yeah, I mean, Colin Burns would be ridiculous. So, you can trade DJ, but you'd have to see who's willing and how much contract you'd have to eat. I'm guessing you'd have to eat at least half, and you'd probably have to attach a prospect anywhere from 10 to 20, ranked between 10 and 20. If you could do that and eat half his contract, you'd save like about $8 million. And a prospect that you're not going to use. We have, 1,000 infield prospects. So it really depends on what team. Well, DJ does have 5 and 10 rights, which makes him harder to trade. Yep. Yes, he does. He'd have to waive his no trade clause. Jazz at second. Became if Soto returns. Volpe at short. Oswald at third. Murakami at first. Soto. So I would watch out. Soto is a minus defender in left. He's a plus defender in right. So my guess is they would probably keep him in right field. My guess. Arenado. The only way I would trade for Arenado is if we can get DJ to waive his trade to go to St. Louis. It's the only way. Yeah. McMahon or Berger. Berger's got several years left. Ryan McMahon's got a couple years left too. Berger's a guy I would consider too. He's got some power from the right-handed side, so Jake Berger. Yankees won't target Alonso. I don't think they're going to target Alonso. It's attached to a QO. Means good, but I just don't see the fit. But this is Brian Cashman doing his due diligence. He does this all the time. Looks at every option for every position to see. That's why the Yankees are connected to everybody. That's why the Dodgers are connected to everybody too. So this will happen every year. He's already, talking to Fried and Corbin Burns and some of these other guys and Blake Snell. Yep. They are targeting Walker or Lifer, but he's attached to a QO when he's 34 years old. So my guess is the only way they would bring Walker in if Soto left. That's my guess. Otherwise, if Murakami signs, if Murakami gets posted, I think the Yankees will go hard after Murakami. Or they'll trade for Pasquantino from the Rockies. Not the Rockies, the Royals. Get a younger, dynamic first baseman who bats lefty too. That they wouldn't have to give prospects up for, like draft picks and international money for. Yep. Christian Walker does have a QO. Yes, he does. And that's the problem. Bregman's got a QO. A lot of these guys that folks want the Yankees to target have QOs. Yeah, Jake Boss. He's got good plate discipline. Walks more than he strikes out. He steals bases. He's an undersized, kind of like Jose Altuve, but he's very highly regarded in the Yankees farm. They brought him to the playoffs every round of the playoffs so he can travel with the team. So Murakami was called. Yeah, I mean, he hit was it 2022 or 2021? He hit like 56 home runs, and he's still on a down year. He's hitting like 30 plus. So I would not trade Spencer Jones for Nolan Arenado. Not a way in the world. There's no way I would move Spencer Jones for Nolan Arenado. Hampton, Pereira, Cortez, different story, but I would not move Spencer Jones for Nolan Arenado. Yeah, they're checking on Carlos Estevez. Yeah, they looked into Tanner Scott. They looked into Jeff Hoffman from the Phillies. I would look into David Robertson and Kirby Yates too. Helsley and Arenado. I would take Helsley and Brendan Donovan over Helsley and Arenado. The only way I would take Arenado is if DJ, like I said, if DJ waived his no trade and we were able to package him in a trade with Nestor Cortez. It's probably the only way I would do it. But he has to waive his no trade clause, DJ. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not. A big New York Yankee hat behind me. Well, I got I'm building a room upstairs in my house for my office. That's going to be my YouTube lair. And I'll have a bunch of stuff up, memorabilia I've got packaged in bubble wrap and in boxes and stuff like that in storage right now that I'll be putting it up. Santana. The only way I can see Ken Santana coming is if Soto leaves. Yeah, yeah. The only way I could see Jones trade is if it's for somebody like Paul Skeens. Yeah. I mean, I was willing to move him for Tarek Skubal and only Tarek Skubal last year, but I don't think that's happening. It's going to be a studio, John. Yeah, it's going to be my studio. So, it will be my lair, but that's going to be my YouTube studio upstairs. Yeah. But we have to build out and furnish the other rooms first. Yeah, David Robinson, Samurai. He may be older, but he had 99 strikeouts in 70 innings pitched. He's got either a 3 ERA flat or just under 3. He's consistent every year. So I wouldn't sleep on David Robinson. You could probably get him on a 1-year deal. So that would be awesome watching Murakami, Jake Boss. If he gets posted, the Yankees will be after him, just like Roki Sasaki. If he gets posted, the Yankees will be after him. They have to use their international money for these guys, but somebody's proposing that, Samurai. They're not gonna. I doubt they're gonna offer Flaherty $114 million with his health history. Demon D is in the building. Demon D. Keep hitting those thumbs up, gang. Keep hitting those likes. We want to get over 100 with the likes. I thank you for it. So, somebody proposed that the Yankees, or predicted that the Yankees would go after Flaherty for that much money. But it hasn't happened yet. I don't see Alonso coming here either. I don't see Nimmo either. I don't see any of these guys. The only Met player I could see potentially having an option here would be Sean Manaea. But again, he's attached to a QO, and I don't know if the Yankees want to do that. But he would cost less than Jack Flaherty. Yeah, ESPN proposed. Yeah, that's why I can't see it, in all honesty. You want Arenado more than Murray McMahon? Why is that? Yeah, I'm passing on Alonso too, so I'd rather trade for one of these younger first basemen. Alonso's going to cost probably $150, $200 million, no matter where he goes. Samurai, he said he would like to play for the Yankees, Murakami. He actually said that. And I never heard Roki Sasaki say he wanted to play for the Dodgers. People are just saying that, they're predicting them to be favored for the Dodgers, so. Yeah. Cole, Rodon, Sasaki, Hill, and Snell. I mean, that would be a crazy rotation. No, it's hard to know. I mean, the Yankees, you want to wait for Soto their all season, but you have to. If I'm them, I'm putting some kind of deadline. And now, all along the way, I'm addressing other needs. I am not waiting for Tanner Scott to be gone, for some of these other guys to be gone. right? I'm not waiting for all that just because we're sitting here waiting for Juan Soto. Soto only addressed one position. That's the position he's playing. He does not address the bullpen. He does not address the starting rotation. He doesn't address the infield. You know what I mean? So, see, we're going to see what happens with Juan Soto, man. You know, we feel good about it, but you never know. You never know. No. 10-time Gold Glove. Yeah, well, good for him. That's past Janice. You know, he's on his decline already, and he's very expensive. Arenado. Like I said, the only way I would move for Arenado is if the DJ waived his no trade clause, and we can send him back for almost a similar salary swap. Yeah, Mike, exactly. The Yankees have to make moves before Soto and after Soto, no matter what. If they want to, fortify this team and get better, they got to make moves. So, yeah, the Yankees haven't officially made a deadline. That's what he's proposing, big buddy. The Yankees should propose a deadline of December 15th. I haven't heard the Yankees put forth a deadline yet. Hal's meeting him next week, and I don't think they want to rush Juan Soto. No, especially the 2-year work that they've done just to get him here. It was a 2-year effort for Cashman, so yeah, he's legit Gold Glove. Yeah, good for him. Mm-hmm. And Arenado, let me see his contract here. Nolan Arenado contract. I'm going to pull up his deal here. He's got 3 more seasons at. It's actually descending. I mean, 21 million, 25, 16 and 26, 15. So it would be almost an even swap with DJ. It'd be almost an even swap. Interesting. Happy early birthday, December. See, Jettis. Happy early birthday, brother. Angel G. I think the Yankees would be in on Snell if they were able to trade away Marcus Stroman, which it sounds as if they're going to try to do. Noelvi Martinez. I mean, I'm not sure, Thomas, because they just added Terry Francona as their manager. So I think the Reds are going to want to build, and they're going to want to add to what they have, and especially bringing in a Hall of Fame manager like Francona. I personally, I think they're going to try to add. Yeah, Ken. I mentioned Pasquantino the other day from the Royals. He's highly touted. He's 27-year-old first baseman, hits lefty. He's got some power, good contact skills. And again, they have the number 1 prospect as a first baseman. And he could replace Pasquantino. So he's a guy I would look into, too, from the trade market. And he's on the cheap. So I think first baseman from Chicago. Who's that, Steve? Who's the first baseman? John, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I really appreciate that. I think the chances of Soto returning are probably, I'm going to say 75%. I'm going to say 75%, I think. Yeah, Pasquantino, he'd be a good option. If they can get him, he's a guy I would look at. It's going to cost a decent amount, though. So, but he's a guy worth looking at. And again, Pasquantino, let's pull him up here. Really? This is the other thing I like, being able to, look at this stuff live time. And thank you, John Lee, for the super chat. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate your generosity. So he's got 3 more years. Actually, he's in pre-arb and 3 years. So he's got 4 more years of control, Pasquantino. So he's a guy worth looking at. Josh Naylor's got 1 year left until he's a free agent. I like the way he's grown up, but I think he's a better fit for the Seattle Mariners. That's why I proposed him in a trade for the Mariners in the beginning of this video. But Naylor, he's legit too. But I don't know if the Yankees want to trade for guys that are going to be free agents after this year. I think they want to trade for some guys that have controllable years. I think so. And this is a way the Yankees can kind of stagger this and then especially make it easier to afford contracts like Soto and these long-term deals with Judge and Cole and the rest of them is getting guys with controllable years. Even though Hicks comes off the books this year, DJ comes off the books next year. And then you have Stanton coming off the books in three, I think it's 3 years or 4 years. So they have a lot more coming off the books. You know. Oh, yeah, he always plays Samurai. He always plays poker, but so does Cashman. So does Cashman. He knows what to do. So I'm not, and again, this is Scott Boras. I mean, he knows he has the generational player here. So he's going to play it very strategic, and I can't blame him. I just like Juan Soto. He was very, very close to the chest. He wasn't going to give any intel because he's Scott Boras' client. He's trained well. So, but you're right, Dave. They have too many holes to be waiting around for just Soto. Like I said, Soto does not address the other outfield position. He does not address the infield, doesn't address the bullpen or the rotation, even catchers. So, Jettis, in Durbin or Vivas, one of them, I think second base is the position that the Yankees would probably bring up somebody from the farm, and only that position. So I think, Jason Dominguez, he's already been up here, so I don't consider him the same thing as a Durbin, but he's got to have every opportunity to give a what do you call it, to replace Alex Verdugo, but he has to replace his offense too. Just like whoever comes to second's got to replace Gleyber Torres' offense to agree, which is another reason why they want to bring in either a good third baseman or a good first baseman to make sure they replace it. So, yeah, Boras, and I don't think he's going to hold this offseason hostage. I think he knows he can't do that again. He knows. I mean, he got fired by Jordan Montgomery. So, well, that's solid fielder, and I mean, the elite glove in the infield is Oswald Peraza, but his bat has not caught up to his glove, unfortunately. So, which is why I'm stressing like the need for good cutoffs and to help. If your arm isn't super strong in the outfield, it's got to be strong in the infield to get it to home plate. I think it's got to be that way. But Durbin right now, where life is going to get the opportunity to win the job in spring training. Plus, they've got other guys. They've got Birdie. They've got Oswaldo Cabrera. So they have plenty of guys that could back up and so on and so forth. But I don't see Birdie as a starter here. I don't see Oswaldo Cabrera as a starter here. Just like I don't see Oswald Peraza here as a starter, unfortunately. So Alonso's he's solid, Mike W. Not an ace, not like Anthony Rizzo good, but he's good. Pete Alonso. Yeah. But the Yankees are doing due diligence. They're looking at everybody right now. They really, really are. And how could you not? In this, the winter meetings are when things are going to really pick up, and that's in 4 weeks. So let me just see if we have any news to report right now for the Yankees. Showing interest in prospect. We know that. They're going to be aggressive in the bullpen. Aggressive in the bullpen. They have to. Like I said, they're losing 4 or 5 guys in the bullpen, so they've got to replace that. They've also outrighted Duke Ellis. So Duke Ellis, they put on waivers. He cleared waivers, and they outrighted him. He's going to be back in AAA, so he's back with the Yankees. No. Rizzo and Volpe are at the Knicks game tonight. Nice. I know they're good buddies, so good for them. Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Like, hey, Angel, I wouldn't hesitate to ask Juan Soto, like, we want you to come back, but who would you like us to add to? And get his feedback. Like, you asked Cole and you asked Judge before. Why not ask Soto? Who said Soto was a Gold Glove, Beagle? Oh, he was nominated for Gold? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, his fielding percentage was pretty high. I think he only had 1 error. So, and again, like, we don't need him to be Jim Edmonds. We need him to be Juan Soto. He's not here for elite fielding. He's here for all his other intangibles. And I think that's something we got to keep in mind. The Mets favorites, not that I know of, not that I heard of. People would like them to be the favorites, but that's not that I heard of. If they signed the Damas to, I'm not sure the Yankees would be willing to do. I mean, if Soto doesn't come back, maybe they'll consider that. But Adames would be at third base, I think. And then you move Jazz to second. And then keep Volpe at short, I think. He's already expressed a willingness this week to move off of shortstop. And Bregman's shown a willingness to move to second from third. So, yeah, well, the Mets do need pitching. And they might lose Severino. They might lose Manaea. So, more likely, I think they're going to lose Manaea. I think they have a good chance of re-signing Severino. I think he might accept the QL. I would not trade for Mike Trout at this point, Eddie. There's too many injuries, unfortunately. Yeah. Now, believe me, Christian Walker is an appealing option, but he's attached to a qualifying offer. So just something to keep in mind. And he's 34. I'm not sure if the Yankees are going to want to do that. Because the other thing, too, if you sign somebody with a QO, you have to give up international money. If they want Murakami and they want Roki Sasaki, they have to have as much international money as possible if these guys get posted early. Otherwise, it decreases the chance of them getting either one. Spencer Jones, I think he needs a little bit more time, in AAA. He's never had a chance to play in AAA yet. I think he needs a little bit more development. Trout, yeah, I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's having too many injuries. He's way too many injuries, Mike Trout. I mean, magical. I'm just one of the best players, most talented players in the game, in the whole world. But he just can't stay healthy now. And that's a shame because it's Mike Trout. But Ken Griffey's a great comparison. The Mets, yeah, I mean, the Mets, I think they have, who's coming back? Jose Quintana. And the Manaea is most likely not going to be back. Severino, maybe. But after that, I don't see the Yankees trading Jones now. I mean, yeah, I don't see him trading Spencer Jones. The Mets, yeah, I mean, I put the Mets as an option in my free agent predictions as a team to, a dark horse to go after Burns. I also put the Washington Nationals as a team as well. I think Santana is only a real option, Eddie, if Soto doesn't come back, and only in that situation. So, if we sign Soto, the only way Burns would be a go Samurai is if they traded Stroman and even offloaded some more payroll in non-tenders. That's the only way I think Burns would be an option. I don't think Burns is going to make anything less than $25 million a year. So, yep. We're hearing that the Yankees were going to get every opportunity to match the highest bidder. But I don't know. Yeah, Quintana's a free agent too. Manaea and Severino got QOs, Gerald. So did Alonso. The Mets have 3 players attached to QOs. So I don't see any chance at all, Cadzillo, the Yankees getting Arias from the Padres. Arias gave up a lot for him. I don't see why they would give him up. Yeah, I can't see it. Especially if they lose Ha-Seong Kim. That I can't see. I mean, Ha-Seong Kim is another option. He plays multiple infield positions too. And he won't cost us, much as some of these other guys would. Yeah, I mean, if Burns got added to the Mets, that would be a huge ad for the Mets. Huge ad for their rotation. Mm-hmm. But that's what we got, guys. Those are the trades I wanted to talk about. Put forth today. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are. And again, I'm working on a Yankees trades, like 5, big trades. A couple of them will be a blockbuster. Lee, if I had to make a prediction, Yankees. For Soto, I think he'll come back to the Yankees. Anybody they've already reached out to Snell, Burns, and Free, but only way I can see them getting one of these guys is if they trade Stroman and potentially even Cortez too. That's the only way I see it happening. Shift the efforts to sign Scott. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Tanner Scott, Chet? Tanner Scott's not attached to a QL, thankfully. He was traded at the deadline, so you're not eligible for a qualifying offer. If you're talking about Tanner Scott, they can get him without having to fork up any prospects or draft picks or anything like that. Degent, what's going on? The Yankees signed Soto. What do you see him saying? I don't know if they're going to be cash strapped, but Hal's already stressed that he wants to not exceed last year's payroll, so that's why I think they're going to non-tender a few guys and they're going to trade a few guys for some young, controllable players. Yep. Yeah. Tell the Padres we were just kidding. Give Michael King. Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine that? That'd be crazy. King was pretty good for them, actually. I see them adding another pitcher, the Padres. Especially now Joe Musgrove's out. Going to miss the whole year for Tommy John. Yep. They will add a starter. Who? I'm not sure. So I don't see Rizzo back. And I don't know if he retires. If he retires, then maybe as an advisor, instructor, or coach. But I'm not sure if he's going to retire just yet, Anthony Rizzo. I think he'll play another. Maybe he'll go back to the Cubs or a team like that. And yeah. But yeah, I heard that he's with Volpe the next game. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, the Arenado. I mean, there's a lot of speculation right now with Arenado to the Yankees. So Ben Rice could be the backup catcher. He could, and he can be the backup first baseman too, unless they trade him for pitching or something. So, but I'm gonna pass on Arenado unless they take DJ, unless DJ waives his no trade clause. But that's a tough one. Does New York have an in and out burger? Yeah, I think so, Ken. I think they have in and out. I think they got Shake Shack too. I think. Not yet. Okay. But that's all right. I mean, they've got plenty of other great. Man, Shake Shack is good. And their chocolate shakes with the burgers are pretty out of this world too. So pretty out of this world. So, but that's what I got. Tomorrow night, if you haven't heard, I'm going to have Ryan from Fireside Yankees on with me tomorrow night. We're going to talk about what happens if Soto stays, what happens if Soto leaves, and everything that pertains to both situations. That's going to be lit. It's at 9:00 tomorrow night. Get ready for it. Come and join us. Give us your feedback. Okay. East Coast is not having an. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Well, that's good to know. If Roki gets posted, if Roki gets posted is one thing. If the Roki gets posted and signed by the Yankees, that's another. He's going to have no shortage of suitors. So, and the Yankees are not at the top of the list for international money either. They've got a little over $6 million. So, which is why I don't see them signing a player with a QO, because they would have to give up some of that international money, which would make it even harder for them to get a Roki or get a Murakami. That's why I don't see it. Albert Pujols. Yeah. Imagine that. That the supply chain would not allow fresh burgers to the East Coast. Really? The hell? Oh, good Lord. That's crazy. It's a shame, too. That's a problem. What's good, Jacob? We are wrapping up right now, but what's going on, brother? And that's disappointment in In-N-Out Burgers. That sucks. It really, really does. Managing Winter League in Domenico. All right. Pujols is managing. Oh, good for him. He was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, too, once he's got his 5 years out. And I honestly, Benji Mabregi, honestly can't see Vlad being traded. And if you look at Vlad's postseason stats, he's about a 130 hitter in the postseason. So I'm not exactly sure if Vlad would be a good fit here, in all honesty. At least for first base. I would go after like Vinny Pasquantino from the Royals or somebody like that, or Murakami. So, I'm with you, Dave, too. I'm not sure that Vlad would actually come here. Yeah. Their meat is fresh. They don't believe that they would be able to ship meat. So, okay, all right, I get it. Well, that makes sense too. We don't know if Ketel Marte is available, to be honest with you. We don't know yet, Gent. No idea. It's a good question. I'll look into it and find out. But that's what we have, gang. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Oh man, now let's leave the political stuff out of here, the Trump stuff, please. Let's not do that. This is not a political channel. Man, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in an outbreak. I mean, that's a lot more commuting. You'd have to keep. It'd be hard to keep it fresh, depending on where the burgers are coming. Where are they coming from? Yeah, and like just Vlad, I kind of feel the same way as Bregman. I don't know if many people would want Bregman here either. All good, old man. They come from California. Okay. Well, I mean, sushi gets packed all the way from Japan, it comes all the way over here. So, and it gets packed in ice, and so that's coming from further than California. So, they'd have to pack it appropriately for the meat to stay fresh. But I mean, red meat is different than tuna fish. So, yeah. Well, we have Gerald. We have Shake Shack here, and they have good burgers and good, awesome shakes in New York. Coca has cheer wine. I don't know what that is. McNeil, I'm gonna pass on McNeil for a trade. New York Chinese food. Oh God, that's like the best Chinese food ever. So yeah, it's good, Jacob. I'm glad that Hal's meeting. He's flying out to California. I mean, I don't think Steve Cohen did that. So Hal is flying out to California to meet with Soto and Boris. So that's good. Cherry soda. Chinese is off the hook, Samurai here in New York. It's off the hook. Cohen's doing it next week too. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if he did it first. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, if the Yankees re-sign Soto, we'll definitely do a Big Mac and an apple pie. That's worthy right there. No, I'm with you too, Beagle Dad. Nothing beats New York pizza. Jersey City. All right. Minnesota. My wife and I went there a couple years ago for 4th of July. We did like the Mall of America, and then we went to a couple of Yankees games. The Yankees were in town there playing the Twins. I like Target Field. It was pretty cool. Coney Island. Did you ride the Cyclone, Beagle Dad? Oh, Cat's Deli. Oh my God. The world famous pastrami sandwiches. Oh God. I've never seen a pastrami sandwich ever in the world that's better than that sandwich. Cats. Oh God. That's the best pastrami sandwich in the whole world. Nathan's. Yeah, Nathan's hot dogs. Can't get a half fried chicken and fries at any Chinese restaurant. Gerald, it's true. Yeah, New York pizza. Some of the best New York pizzas in Brooklyn, too. So, like world famous pizza. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Long Island. I've got family in Long Island. My wife went to college in Long Island. Brooklyn, I like it. The Brooklyn accent, I like it. We got some Long Island folks. All right, Cat's Deli. Cat's Deli. That's a classic. That's a national treasure there. Cat's Deli. Went to Hofstra. My wife went to Stony Brook. Oh, you're right, Dave. Yeah, Cat's is like the #1 sandwich place in the world. That pastrami is to die for. It's so good. New York has the best hot dogs. Yeah, they do. Central Park hot dogs, the dirty water hot dogs. Phenomenal. Mexican cooking the food in the Chinese restaurants. Oh, there you go. ECU is Eastern Carolina. Pizzerias. I mean, there's pizzerias everywhere in New York. You live right down the road from somewhere in Suffolk County. All right. Oh, yeah. Anything on the LIE in the southern state, like, it's brutal going to Yankee games from Long Island. It's brutal. I used to have season tickets, Jacob, but I had to give them up when the Yankees got their new stadium because it was way too expensive. In East Carolina. All right. Yeah, and Semper Fi, gentlemen. Good turn. Thank you for serving, gentlemen. Yes, indeed. All right. All right, man. Yeah, all you guys, thank you for serving. Star Trek convention site. Nice. That's where the MRI was invented. I didn't know that until I met my wife there. 95 to 10. All right, you were in for 15. All right. Mike, all right, man. All right. Where'd you go for the basic training, Mike? Paris Island? No school on Monday. Is it Veterans Day? Yeah, I don't know, Samurai. If they non-tender, there's a couple of non-tender candidates, at least 4 of them. I think they're going to try to trade Grisham. I think they're going to try to trade Nestor Cortez, and if they can't find value, they'll just non-tender them, right? And meaning they won't have to pay them; they could just have that money off the payroll. So, Marine Corps birthday, all right, man. Happy birthday, Veterans Day, all right, man. All right. Yeah, Jake. I mean, they can trade Grisham or non-tender him. I mean, I like he brought value, but I think he deserves an opportunity to play a little bit more regularly, so you can set him up for a contract because he's a free agent after next year. Non-tender, yeah, because they're arbitration, Samurai. Only arbitration players can get non-tender, so you can decide to tender them a contract in arbitration or not. So if you non-tender them, you walk away, they're gone, and they're automatically free agents, and the Yankees don't have to pay anything. So, yeah, have a great night, Jake. I'm gonna wrap it up too. So, thank you everybody for coming on. Please hit the like buttons on the way out. Tomorrow I've got Ryan coming on, so please join us. That one's gonna be hot tomorrow night. And again, if you haven't heard, I have somebody who's going to be reporting to me directly from the winter meetings and feed me in on the news. So make sure all your notifications are turned on with this channel so you don't miss anything. So, Devil Dog Gunner, all right. All right. We got a draft pick for Hill running rookie of the year. Yeah. Grisham's a non-tender candidate. Tim Mays is a non-tender candidate. Nestor Cortez and Jose Trevino, they're all in arbitration. All of them are. You can only get out of DJ's contract if he waives his no trade clause and they trade him. That's going to be hard. He's the toughest one to move. Marcus Stroman does not have a no trade clause as far as I know, so they could trade him. He makes $18 million. So, but have a great night, everybody. Peace and love to all ladies. I want to thank you all for coming on. I hope you enjoyed this. And again, get ready for tomorrow night. If any other news comes out, you're going to get it here. Over now. Peace.